But we can say without, oh, now we can't.
No, I'm recording now. I know. Well, so what are you feeling like hung up on, or that you need more information about? Like,
I have a question.
Okay.
I don't know if this is stupid, but like we give presentations, informal ones, like, we take a tray, we work on it, and that way that's just like, and then children, and then we put it back, we complete the activity, we put it back, and the child picks it up and does it. And then, but you were saying that how we do it, like presenting it to a child or circle time. Am I missing something?
Well, I mean,
we used to do that, but we stopped it because I thought that was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, there aren't really, that is interesting, isn't it? That we don't do as many like formal presentations in the infant and toddler room. Everything that we do is a presentation.
Yeah.
So I think that like we will suspend, because at some point, if you're working with a toddler, they are going to take over what you're doing. You're not going to get a chance to go through the whole progression, but it'll be we'll pretend like you did get a chance to do the whole presentation. And just so that, and the things that you want to be really clear about are what were the direct aims? What are the indirect aims? What is the point of interest? Where's the control of error? So those are the things that that could be a little bit tricky, even though you do, but that's, I mean, everyone's been pretty consistent in doing their weekly observations, and the real point of the observations, I think, was to take your understanding of the child's needs and how each lesson would satisfy those needs. And so in that relationship somewhere, you have matched the child with the point of interest. And so thinking about what it is about that job that's going to call to the child, remembering what what the direct aims and what the indirect aims are. Those are all related to your observations. And so it should be easy to kind of tease those out. If you miss 1 out of 7, it's not that critical. But does that make sense? I don't know. I'll reach out to Terry and I'll let her know that you guys are really nervous, and let's see what she has to say. I don't think that you should.
That's what I'm nervous about, is the indirect aims, the direct aims, and like what is it? CCOI or whatever, COCI.
Consideration, coordination, order.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's where I would need some guidance on saying what is the indirect aim, and like being able to say, this specific lesson is for like a 23-month-old. You know what I mean? Like knowing that this age range that it's for.
Well, I mean, yes and no. I mean, like something with a lot of steps, you might not give to an 18-month-old, but like, even though, and that's why there's not a lot of formal presentations. Like your 18-month-old is going to stand at your hand washing table, and you might put a little water in there, but you're going to pick up like a bunch of the stuff that's on the table. Like you're going to pick up the soap maybe, and maybe you'll leave the mitt and like the little brush. They're going to experience it in a different way. You're going to give a different lesson than you would to a 2-year-old or a 2.25-year-old. So we're going to, there is a broad range for a lot of the activities and lessons that you give to the children. Let me find out like how specific they're going to ask you to be. Why don't what I'm imagining is that I'll say like, what's the range? Like say that you pick like banana slicing. So what would be the age range of a child that you might introduce that work to?
Or are you asking questions?
Yeah. Tell me, like, what would you say? What's the age range for that kind of work?
To introduce it?
Sure.
For banana slicing, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's available for anybody.
Sure.
Yeah.
So like 18
Maybe
months,
like
2 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and so start thinking
We
about,
know, but
like,
we're just panicking, I feel like.
I know.
Yeah, I think I feel a little weak in pedagogy, because it's not as clear, especially with infants. So much of their work is in caretaking, and I don't have, although I have very consistent procedures, and I have an expectation of respect, and there's a lot of that is done to incorporate and get participation from the child. It's not a formal movement analysis of including direct and indirect aims, and whereas I feel like with older children it's much clearer.
Definitely. No, and that's like the presentations aren't going to be about like your precision of movement. It's gonna, like, well, I think that at the 3 to 6 level, it's very different. It's a different kind of lesson. It's a different child, and a different mind. But, well, let's revisit some of that. Like maybe let's make sure that you're feeling really confident. How, sorry, Wendy, did you have a question?
Yeah. For the lesson that we demonstrate, is that something that, as you see in our classroom, that you choose, or is it something that we can kind of pick and prepare ahead of time?
So I was wondering.
No, it's going to come up randomly. So that's why I was saying just make sure that you have like a food prep work, so that if that is picked, that you can present it. Okay.
Chances are there is a good chance for prep learning falls out.
Well, that's what Elaine told me. That's what because I sat and had lunch with Elaine and Elena, and Elena's she took the first cohort, so she's done I think 3, and she's come through the whole cycle twice, I feel like. So she's been through it a couple times, and I kind of said, I was like, yeah, the adult learners are really nervous, and I keep telling them, no, don't worry about it. Like, I'm not going to let you fail. And they're like, well, you don't want to pass someone who isn't prepared. And I'm like, but they're all, but I know you, like, I know you guys. Like, I feel like we've been working together for a year. So I think that, it's just one piece, and I think that you can probably take it until you pass. So, if that makes you feel any better. And I think it's just pass fail. Like I haven't seen the rubric. I'll ask Terry if she'll send it to me. Maybe that'll put everybody's mind at ease if we can see like, what the points are and how they what kind of standards I'm going to be using when I'm doing the grading.
Mercedes, maybe you already talked about this last week. I'm sorry I missed it, but we have the checklist for the exam eligibility, and then is this the last review week? Are we able to
one more
fill that out?
We have one more review week, so next week we're on break. And then
there's no class next week.
There's no class next week. No. Enjoy your holiday. Is anybody traveling next week? Are y'all staying put? Okay, cool. Well, so no class next week, and then we'll do the 3rd week of review the following week. So I don't have my calendar up, but
November 29th, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then you get a little time, right? And I think that you can take as much time as you want to the end of the year. That's kind of what they're thinking, is that you'll take the exams, I think, before the end of the year.
So first you do the written test. If you pass that, then you do the orals.
I think it said that there was no order. There's no order. You can take it however you want.
So one is, yeah, so you have to just do all three are the capstone requirements. So your original material and the oral exam and the written exam. To me, it does make more sense. Well, I guess I would take the written exam first, personally. But that's me. I don't know. To me, that seems like the harder one. And like Laura said, it's all open note. It'll be a little trickier. The oral one is a little trickier. So maybe having a solid win under your belt will give you more confidence going into the oral exam. There's a lot of questions in the review, as we said, as Leslie noted. So you're compiling all of the answers to the questions in one place. Is that what you're saying?
Right. I included all the study guides from last week.
Okay.
So there's 4 study guides with everyone's responses that I had as of Sunday. So if there are new responses, I'll go back and add some. But if anybody wants to use the study guides, they're Word, so you can add to them or use it however you want.
Okay.
And then I'm working on 4 new ones for this week.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that that'll really be helpful. And so I will try to make sure that I'll be able to give some feedback to your posts in the next couple days too.
And I included your feedback. If there were any feedback, I just added it.
Okay, cool. Well, what else? What else can we talk about? How can I support you here?
Totally unrelated. Is Elaine and Ellen the same person? No.
Elaine is the PA coordinator, the practicum coordinator,
Okay.
right? And she was at your residency too, wasn't she? Elaine?
She was at ours, Wendy and I, right? And
Ellen is different. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know anybody. Well, I correspond with someone in the CGMS office named Ellen Lastiner, but I didn't meet her at the
I think she's the one who,
she did admissions, right?
maybe I am getting them confused.
I think she did admissions. You're right.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah, she's like an admin, but there's Elena, who is a CGMS.
We're all confused.
Yeah, and then there's also Elaine Gleer.
Elaine is the one who sets me up with my the people who come to observe me.
Yeah, so she coordinates the field consulting and the practicum advisors. Yeah, and she might have been Laura, who's your practicum advisor? Is it Elaine?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she's really knowledgeable. Her session was really good. She and Terry talked about ways to use your credential other than in the classroom, because she I guess she's not in a classroom anymore, so she's doing like consulting and I don't know, I haven't ever seen a session like that. It was interesting. And we all talked about what we do after, but I feel like it's backwards because I'm already I did all that stuff when I was trying to get my school going, like, doing parent consulting and home visits and parent classes, like parent-child classes and all those things. Are you going to be able to do a parent-child class in your school, Leslie? Were you saying that was one of the things that was a possibility? Or am I just making that up in my head?
No, that was, sorry. That was right. One of the things that appealed to me about this school was that it sounded like I would have a lot of different opportunities. And we have a training center, a Montessori certification, like training center. But we also have a separate organization that is a consulting branch. And then there's another one that does like Maryland has all these required trainings for teachers or educators. So there's another one that does those trainings. And then we do parenting series. And anyway, so I think head of school had really like enticed me with all of these opportunities, and I'm questioning whether I'm really going to have those opportunities or not. So
Oh no.
no.
Well, you're in the classroom pretty much.
Yep.
They need you in the classroom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to have a chance to do an infant parent class.
Well, that's great.
Probably next year. Our school's only 3 years old, so we're just slowly adding different things, whatever opportunities come up. But I know that's something that the head of school and I are both interested in doing.
I love that.
You'll be great.
Yeah, you will. You would be great. You will be great at it. I think that it's so parents are so much harder for me than the children. Like cultivating that compassion for them, I have to dig really deep. But I can see where you would just shine in that, Wendy. Like you have so much compassion for them.
I just see them all as my children.
Yeah.
They're
I know.
my children. But these people actually want my advice.
Yep.
So it's a little different.
That's funny. Well, let's see, what else can I tell you guys? How, so does everyone understand like the exam eligibility? I don't know, cause I don't grade everybody's work, but, everyone seems like they're pretty on track to be able to take the exam, in a timely manner. Is that kind of your plan? Or are you going to wait until after the EC overview?
So I am hoping I can finish it off before December 1st week because I'm going home. I kind of want to be done.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm going home after so long. I don't want to worry about this. I really want
to. Oh yay! How long will you be back? How long will you be home for?
I'm going home in 6 years, and I'm going to be going for about close to 3.5 weeks.
Yay! And of course, you're taking your daughter.
Yeah, it's her first time going home too, so it's like I don't want to worry about it. So hopefully I'll pass. That way, my whole holiday doesn't go bad.
Well, talk to Dabika and get something, because that's really soon. I mean, that's in like 3 weeks. So you must be excited.
Super. Like this room right now is packed with things that I can go. So when I came in, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys are going to think I'm so cluttered, but there's things everywhere,
That's so great. I'm excited for you. Yay. We'll talk to Dabika and set it up. Yeah, I think honestly that my advice, my unsolicited advice, is just to pretty much just strike while the iron is hot. Everything's fresh in your brains. You're doing these reviews now. You're already thinking about all this, bringing back the past modules and
So even for my test, I have to talk to Deepika, right? So if I just
so you I'll set up Leslie and Laura and Anne and Eugenia and Kathy. So maybe, since I think Kathy probably, well, I don't know, she might be able to do the exams. And then so Dabika, we'll see kind of how she's feeling. I know that she is pretty bummed right now. So I'll let her know that I'm available to help her if she wants me to meet with any of the ALs that she typically grades. So
I have to finish all reviews. I cannot do my written week on the break week, right? Maybe not, because I'm trying to think.
No, you're not eligible. I don't think that you're I think the exam, I mean, it's been a while since I looked at the exam eligibility chart, but I think you have to finish the review before you're eligible.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yes, that's true. I asked about that already.
I bet you did, Anne.
I did, and I'm sure you're shocked by that, right?
And
okay, so Mercedes, I have a question. In the eligibility chart, so like I did my other observation, my elementary observation, and like it's done. I mean, I need to like type it up more nicely and more presentable to you. but do you have to have seen and graded that to like mark it off the exam eligibility?
No, because what you can do is send me your exam eligibility checklist, and I will go through and I will see if you've submitted those things. So if you've submitted something that I haven't graded, then
Okay, but I do have to actually put it in the submission box, like, yeah. Okay.
That too.
Yep. Yeah,
Okay.
but if I haven't
Yeah,
graded
it's done.
it,
I just need to like
that's on me.
type it up and stuff.
Okay, you got this.
Oh God. I'm like feeling like I'm so close, but then I have all these little things to like put together. And when I think about all of them, like the list stresses me out more than
I can
like
really
if I just don't look at it.
Yeah, no, it's really, really stressful. I mean, like I was a total mess at the end of my master's degree. It was bad. Like I felt like that was as close as my husband ever came to divorcing me for being crazy. Like, he
Oh my
was
God,
like,
no, I was not like this
you
at
have
the
to
end of my
stop
master.
You weren't? Yeah.
I know this is harder than my master's.
Out. Oh my gosh, you guys! I was like, I've totally chosen the wrong thing. I don't know what I'm doing. Forget this. I'm never gonna make it. It was terrible. I was like the worst. I was the biggest crybaby.
What?
And look
yeah.
at me now, though, Mercedes.
Oh yeah, look at me now. I can understand why you guys would feel stressed out. Like I think that it's a lot. Like but you've come really far. I think that you've done stressful things. Like you put the work in, you put the time in. You know, there's a lot to review, but then just do it and it'll be done. Yeah.
So after we send you the eligibility form, I'm all confused about the procedures. Then do you just send us a link to the exam, the online, the written?
Yeah, the written. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So
I
send
think you
me
just
that.
remember time for it, right? Even for the written.
Once you click on the link, I think you have 4 hours to finish it.
Once I click on the link, okay.
Yeah. So.
And so
I saw somewhere that it was like broken into 2 parts. Is that the written and the oral? Or is the written exam
The
broken into 2
exam is broken up into 2 parts, and you can do all of them at once, or you can take it in 2 separate parts.
It's 4 hours each section, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Which they think, I mean, that is like, you have enough time to have some sort of like emergency appendectomy and then get back to the exam and finish it. So I think that it will not take you that long. And
when is our last video chat? Like
our
as
last class is is 2 weeks from today.
not next week, the following week.
Yeah. I know.
Okay,
Too bad.
well, I vote that maybe after everyone's done, I think we all have a video chat and some cocktails.
I think so too. Come with wine
Totally.
not next week.
That would be awesome. I know. Well, I hope to see some of you in DC in March, right?
Yeah, I'm going.
Yay.
I'm
You
so
might tour my
excited.
school.
Oh, yay!
Yeah.
My school's thinking about going.
Yeah. Yay. Tell them they have to
Do
send
it.
you.
I was like, I don't want to go that far. I don't want to get on a plane.
No, it'll be so fun. It'll be so fun. Oh my gosh, we have to have
Conferences are a blast. Have you ever been, Shelby, to a conference?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's so much. I went to my first one this year in Denver, and I'm so excited for DC because before we went with all the preschool teachers, which are like the veterans, and they've been there for 15 years. Well, this year, the veterans have decided that they're going to pool all the money together for the rookies, and the rookies are going, it's us. So they're stepping back and letting us have this experience. So, yeah, I'm so excited.
That's really, really cool. Yay. Yeah. Well, I'm presenting with Tracy.
In DC?
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, I'll be there, of course.
Yeah, yeah. Come see.
Do you know what you're presenting on?
Positive guidance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It'll be fun. Tracy and I have a good time. So.
Mercedes. So once, let's just hope the exam goes okay, orals go all okay, everything goes okay. and I didn't see. I'm only getting the associates right now because I couldn't do the residential.
Yeah.
So I just let the admin office know that I'm gonna do the residential. So it's just a matter of doing the 2 weeks at Florida, not having to take any more classes or anything, right? How does that work?
Yes. There's probably like a time component, you probably have a certain number of years until
3 years.
Yeah. So Laura, are you intending to do the residential at some point in the future in the next 3 years? Yes.
Yeah, I intend to do it next June. So
That's what I'm hoping to.
Okay. Well, I think that you just probably have to fill out paperwork, to
Already.
to say, well, at some point to state your intention. I have kind of a list of things that that I'm gonna ask Terry about, and so when I email her, I'll ask her what the procedure will be to turn your associate degree into the full credential by attending residency, and what action you have to take to do that.
So it's not like we have to take classes again. We don't have like assignments and stuff. No, it's just a matter of.
Well, you probably will have like assignments as the function of the residency, right? Did you guys do some stuff when you were there?
When I'm there, yes. Okay.
Yeah, but not
on a weekly basis like this. Okay.
No, Okay. Okay, cool. Well, I was kind of looking through is there any question that you looked at and you were like, oh, hell no, I'm not going to even answer that at all. I don't know what to do. Like, is there something that just like struck fear into your heart or anything that you feel really stuck around? Or do you have a problem in your classroom that you want to talk out? Laura, how's your little guy sleeping? The one who was the screamer. He's settling down, right?
Yeah, he was doing really good for a while, and now he's back to crying a lot. I don't know. He was sick for like a day, and then he was out for a Monday because his parents didn't work, but we still had school, and so he was out for an extended period of time. So we kind of were. He still sleeps. He's still sleeping though. He's just crying a lot. He wants to be held all the time. But he's okay.
I've had a couple of things going on. The little boy I was telling you about before.
Yes.
Well, they took him to the ear, nose, and throat doctor and realized that his tonsils and adenoids are way too large and that he's not getting enough oxygen to his brain when he's sleeping, and that it's imposing characteristics that could relate to ADHD and things like that, and frustration.
Wow.
And then they took him to the OT, and the OT said that he did seem tense when she asked him to do things that he didn't want to do, but he seemed normal. So I was like, well, I guess it's, what the ear, nose, and throat doctor thought, and I think they're going to get a surgery date for him. And he's starting to wear underwear, and he's still trying to bite, but as soon as we say his name, he usually stops.
Uh-huh.
And then I had a new child that started, and I did not have her a week, and she bit probably 5 times. She did not recognize her name. She bit me through my blue jeans, and I bruised for like 5 days. I had a bruise through my blue jeans. And then they told me Friday that they were going to put her in somebody else's class, and I was like, I've been thinking nonstop about this child and what I was going to do and how I was going to meet with her parents, and that I needed to meet with her therapist and all these other things that we should have done before she ever started.
Yeah.
And now you put her in somebody else's room, and they said, well, the parents requested it. I was like, okay. So they've known me a week, and they decided they don't like me in my room, and they're going to go to a different room, and it's going to make everything all better. Like, I was so upset.
Maybe they're embarrassed by her behavior, not by you.
Well, all I told myself is that they're in denial. They're in
Yeah.
denial, and they don't think anything's going on. And I really didn't say anything to them. Like, I didn't say half the things that she did. All I said that she did. Like, I didn't tell them that she was behind in a lot of things. You know, I was just waiting to get to know her and them.
Yeah. Well, maybe sometimes parents have to go through a few different classrooms and even schools before they're ready to hear or to, you know, accept. Like, it's hard. It's really hard.
And it's really hard also because I know I've heard so many times people say that Montessori is for every child, and that Dr. Montessori had children with different needs and things like that. And then when I see a child that's delayed or is, you know, having issues in the classroom, I try to think to myself, what about this classroom is not working for the child? And my main thought is the ratio.
Yeah. Or the group size. How many kids? Remind me. You have kind of high ratios
I
too.
have 15, but I can have 18. And they were trying to. After I got 2 new children in the same week. One of them was her. One of them was a child that does not speak English. And then they tried to put 2 infants in my room right after that, and I told them no. So now that they've put the autistic child in a different room, now they're like, oh, now you have room for the 2 infants. I was like,
oh my gosh, how can you have infants so they're in the same classroom with you? I don't think that I realized that. What's your age range?
I have 18 months to 3 years old, but they keep trying to put children who are 15 months old in my classroom.
It's really there's a big difference.
Right, there's a 15-month-old and a 17-month-old. They're trying to push them at the same time, and I told them they're both not ready. I'm going to take that 17-month-old and then give the 15-month-old a little bit longer. And they told me today, her teacher told me today, she's still taking 2 naps. She's still getting a bottle. And I was like, well, she's going to
not
be
ready. Yeah.
miserable.
Oh.
Debbie, I have a book for you. Have you heard of this book?
Oh yeah.
Children who are
Not yet peaceful.
Oh,
Donna Gertz Bryan.
Yeah, I talked about it before, but I'm a visual person. This is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And I got off at Amazon, but it talks about children that are sort of atypical and accommodations, but some of those things are like ratios, like having more instructors, and sometimes or teaching assistants, or sometimes those aren't things that are feasible in your classroom, so that's a consideration too. But this book has a lot of ideas.
Mercedes,
yeah,
what would you say is the ideal number of toddlers in one classroom?
No more than 12. 12 would be the maximum number of, I had 16 toddlers, and it was just different. Like, I had 16 children, but like 3 of them would be infants at a time probably, and we had 4 teachers. But if you I think that if you're just like 18 months through 3 years old, 3 teachers and 12 kids, 2 teachers and 10 kids is probably like where your ideal is.
Okay. And I guess that also depends on your space.
Yeah.
I mean, how much room you have in your environment. Because I noticed a very clear number of children where they can all be peaceful and working. And then you add even one more, and it's like chaos.
Yeah.
Not chaos, but distracting, and people are disruptive and not as focused. And they do, I mean, I have 10 children enrolled, but 8 is my ideal number for my space. And I'm trying to figure out how to speak with my director about that, because it really makes a humongous difference. But
I think that if you, 2 people, 2 adults and 8 kids is probably, would be fine. Like, I think that would be, but it is a hard sell, because honestly, like, you're barely breaking even with that kind of from a business perspective. The toddler program isn't really a moneymaker anyway. But that being said, I think just like being more mindful, going back to what you were saying, Shelby, in terms of outlining like a real transition plan. That, you know, our transitions, we never transition 2 children in 1 week. Like I would never do that. Like, I don't think that that's really good for your children or for you, the teachers. And so, I think that that's, well supported, like in terms of, through your training and probably, through research. You know, I don't know. I just can't imagine trying to do that. So having a really clear transition plan that you follow every single time, or sometimes when we've had children moving from the infant room, or we know because we've had a sibling that you have like a more hesitant child, we give a few more visits if we have that kind of flexibility. But typically the transition, the whole process from start to finish, a child that I'm moving from my infant room into my toddler room is going to take a week. And that's the same for internal and external transitions. So like I do a home visit, my teachers go do home visits, even if it's a child moving from within our own community, from the infant room into the toddler room. We still do a home visit. We do an afternoon visit with a parent. We do morning visits with the children. And then the last day they get dropped off in their old classroom, and the teacher walks them over to the new classroom, or the new teacher comes to get them, and they take all their things and they spend the day there and take their nap.
So do you, Mercedes, do you have transitions all throughout the year then?
Yeah. I mean, there are times when the transitions are heavier, you know, because
I got 9 in September. I got 9.
That's a lot.
To me.
I have a feeling that my head of school is going to be opposed to home visits, and I really want to do those.
Well, you know, it's just like can you hear me? Because my screen is frozen.
Your screen's frozen, but we can hear you.
Such an attractive position there. Like Mercedes, deep in thought, falling asleep, something. I'm sorry. What was that? I was so distracted by my awesome. I forgot what we were talking about.
It wasn't your face frozen on my screen. It was somebody else's.
Oh, it's not my face? Like it's frozen. I'm frozen on my screen. All I see is like no, I seriously can't remember what we were talking about.
You're still frozen.
I know.
It's frozen different people. Now Leslie's frozen on my screen.
Oh my gosh. All right.
So, Mercedes, so when they ask, like let's say they're asking about transitions, should we say what we do at school or what is recommended by CGMS? For sure, it's what is recommended by CGMS, right?
Well, I mean, you have to get your administration on board. Like it just has to be a policy. Like, you know, this is how we transition children. And I mean, it was great listening.
It's like it's something that they don't do. They just
I mean, like Kathy said it in her you know, in the video, like, I know you want to start, you love me, but let's slow this down a little bit and take it slow, because that is what's best for the child. And where that sweet spot is for you, you know, you can do some research and figure it out. But it, and I know that you all have, well, not, you know, Laura, you've talked about having a relatively reasonable plan, and Anne, and Wendy, you got kind of a lot of kids, but it seemed to work for you. You know, and Leslie, they don't, I mean, 9 transitions in 1 month is a lot of transitions. I try to go every week. And sometimes I'll stagger them. So it'll be like, Wednesday of 1 week they'll start. And then, you know, it's just like everybody gets a week, like one child a week. So
I think that's good.
Okay. And also the written test, okay, totally different.
Okay, now let's go back to it.
You see the anxiety in me. It's all about the written test, and
you're gonna be fine.
Is it? Do you know? Is like a comprehension type of questions? Do you know what kind of like is I don't know. Like, I don't know. Like, do you have any
But,
idea?
they said, I thought that in one of the study guides it said it could either be like short answer or there could be matching, right? Isn't that what is that what you remember, Laura? I know you've read it a couple.
Yes. Short answer, like forum length answers.
Like discussion forum.
There might be like a multiple choice, multiple
choice matching.
Yeah.
Okay.
But there's not going to be like essay questions or like not full,
Okay, got it.
Pretty much just like the forum.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Okay, well, we made it. It's 6:30.
You're still frozen.
And I'm still frozen. I know. I have no idea. Okay, cool. Well, I'm rooting for you guys. I know that you'll do great, and let's take a week, and I will be digging into your forum responses. And I'll try to also look and see what responses didn't get answered and throw you a bone there so that you don't have to go back. We'll see. We'll see how I do. That'll be my intention. So
So see you following week then?
yes. Yeah. Okay. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.